and gentlemen. I appear to be going through some kind of a transition. I've fallen 4 times in the past several weeks, and when I stood over there preparing to come up, I thought, well, the first problem is getting up on the stage. So I was going to take a rush at it, but then I saw that Carl had noticed my problem there. This is kind of interesting. I can actually see you. Well, I've done this only once before, and at a venue where you could not see. I mean, the lighting was such no possible way. And I can see you, and this is scarier. And as long as I can see you, I'm going to ask a question. Where were you in 1954-55? This is a serious question. Maybe these two in the second row. Well, see, here's the problem. I'm going to be talking about something that happened in 1954-55. Really the most serious mistake I ever made in my entire life. But you see, you weren't around in 54-55, and you're going to say, oh, come on now, it couldn't have been all like that. It was, and I wouldn't lie to you, at least not very much. Now, the other thing that's interesting is that this does look like a pretty godless group. Now that's good. That's not. Now I can assure you, I am more godless than you. If you don't believe that, you can see me afterwards. The problem is that in 1954-55, I was a young Christian boy. I won the prize for memorizing the most Bible verses in Sunday school. I mean, you couldn't find them much better than I. And then I realized something, and we'll get into that in a minute. But the contrast is interesting. It will explain my actions. The only advice I have is if you are going from a God-fearing person, transitioning to a godless person, do it as early as possible. Okay, on to our problem, my problem. It would be great if I had some 15-year-olds, but they'd probably arrest me for contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Now, when you get old, you kind of review your life. You can't help from it. At least my wife can't help from reviewing hers. I can't help from reviewing mine. And it gets very tiresome. But anyway, you think about the things you did, and you think about the things you didn't do, and you think about the things you should have done but didn't do. And that's the area where the most regrets are. The things you should have done but didn't do. And I made my big mistake as a God-fearing young man when the year that I was 15 years old. Are you ready for this? Yeah. It's bad. I didn't masturbate enough. I should have wanked more. A lot more. And if it's all right with you people, I'll use the word wank. It's kind of an English derivation. But it's only one syllable, and masturbate is 3 syllables. And then wanker's only 2 syllables. Masturbator is 4 syllables. I probably go over time anyway, so we'll stick with the wank. The only problem is I haven't figured out if, a wank, wanking, wanker, what's a wanky? I don't know. Anyway, okay, why do I say that I didn't masturbate? Okay, because age 15 is the prime year for exercising the female, excuse me, boy, I'm the male sex organ to make sure it and the rest of his body reaches their full sexual and physical development. Now, how do we know this? Well, in the research that I've done on the internet, I've been up with some interesting facts. Now, I'm going to turn this way a little bit. I'll center things a little bit. Because I want to be standing up. Maybe I won't. Oh, God, I got to go see a doctor. Now, okay. You people over here are going to have to visualize this. I'm not turning around. Okay, now, yeah, the vertical. My legs are on the vertical, right? And imagine the strength of the male erection is measured in the angle of elevation from the vertical on up. Okay? Getting this over there? Now, and anyway, so for a healthy male, very healthy, that angle, I'm going to put this down for a moment. That angle is 165 degrees. More or less. I mean, there's different shapes. There's some curve and some. Fortunately, I never had to worry about curves. Bill mentioned that getting a mammogram. I just want to pass it. I've never been given a mammogram. But if I do say so myself, I have great man boobs. Gynecomastia is the proper term, and Callie can verify that. She's a healthcare provider. Okay, now, where was I? Oh, it doesn't make much difference, but we'll just continue on here. We were talking about the angle and so forth. Anyway, the reason we know that 15 is the age you really have to do this, not 16, not 17, not 18, because that angle, it's only 15 degrees off the vertical. By the time you're 18, which is only 3 years, it's gone down 10 to 15 degrees. By 20, it's down another 10 degrees. 15, it's the highest there is. It's all downhill. So you really got to hit it hard. I get. So anyway, that's why we have to, at age 15, you have to do it. Now, I didn't, because I was trying to be a good Christian boy. And if you don't do it, you have problems later on in life. And, you can, actually, most of your problems that count are because of a failure to wank enough. Now, for example, myself, I hate to admit this, but it's okay. I'm 83. I'm not going to be around much longer. I don't have an 8-inch penis. Why? Because I didn't wank enough when I was 15. My mother, my brother, my father, and my sister are all taller than I. Why? Because I didn't wank enough at age 15. I've never been rich and famous. Why? I didn't know anything. I was 50. So now let's get into why. I mean, why I didn't. Well, I was scared. Plus, you know, the mid-50s there, it was not a wank positive time. It was very much a wank negative time. And God was watching. And he was one mean motherfucker. We knew he was allowing us a little leeway, and the consensus that we wankers had, and somebody asked me when I practiced, why did I say we? Well, we had a group of kids who we'd sit around and discuss the problem, because, you know, we wanted to get in as many wanks as possible, but without displeasing the Almighty. But anyway, the consensus was he would allow a grace of 3 wings, but at 4 wings the hammer would fall. He would smite you. Now, smite is a biblical word. It occurs in the King James Version of the Old Testament 113 times. None of them are good. There's scabs and locusts and lice and hernias and oh God, it just goes on. You're killing your firstborn, killing the ones yourself, erectile dysfunction. No, not that one. I really kind of have it in for God these days, and I accuse him of things he didn't do. But anyway, okay, so God is, was a problem. But we needed more information to plan how to do as much as we possibly could. But we needed, we thought, okay, we can safely do it 3 times a day. But is that cumulative? Or is that, or was it 3 times and with one hand and 3 times with the other hand? Now, if that was true, we had it made. 3 with one hand, 6 times a day, just about right. The morning wank, the mid-morning wank, the afternoon wank, the mid-afternoon wank, and the after-supper wank, and then the bedtime wank. Watch out for getting the covers messy. So, what happened next was, what did happen next? Okay. There was a couple of considerations. What was the rule if you started the wank with this hand, but finish it with this hand? What was the rule if you started with this hand, then switch to this hand for a little bit, then back to this hand? And we needed more information. We didn't have it, but we were looking for a solution. I thought I had thought of one when, the hair, I forgot to mention, the wanking penalty was hair on the palm of your hands. Very obvious. There were some people who said, well, no, he'll make you blind or make you crazy. We didn't care about that. People go crazy every day. They say, oh, Terry went crazy. Okay, well, who knows what happened? Terry went blind. Well, that happens every day to people. Who knows what happened? And Terry's got hair in his hands. They're a fucking wanker. Well, anyway. So I thought, well, all right, I'll just wank with one hand. And I'm very right-handed, so I need that hand, so I'll wank with the left hand. That means I had to learn how to wank with my left hand. It's probably like wearing a condom. It just doesn't feel right. I wore a condom once, and I'll never do that again. What was the point? But anyway, I would wank with the left hand, and then when the hair started to grow, I was just going to put it in my pocket. But then I thought about that, okay, I go to help somebody. And he says, Terry, pick up that box over there and bring it over here. So I go over there, and I struggle with my right hand to pick it up, and he said, what the hell are you doing? Just use both hands. I only got one hand? So, Well, anyway, I did have finally a flash of inspiration, and it solved the problem for a while. The vacuum cleaner. You see, the thought was, if I used the vacuum cleaner, that my hand would not be touching my dick, and therefore, home free. The first time, though, it was a learning experience. Back then, vacuum cleaners, this was a Hoover, by the way. I started calling her Mrs. Hoover after a while. But anyway, the vacuum cleaners, the solid parts weren't plastic, like they are today. It was metal. And it was crimped at the end, so that, so it fit in there. And anyway, so I got my dick in the thing, and it was okay. I turned it on, and that was really okay. But then I went to, pull out, and I didn't think about it. They make suction things for your dick these days to make your dick bigger. They make my dick a little bigger. The end of the thing was crimped. I couldn't get it out. But I finally got it out, and I have a piece of advice for you if you ever get adventurous to you boys now. And by the way, I apologize for not having experience to edit for advice for you girls. But the head of the penis, it's called the glans, G-L-A-N-S. It is really tough. And it heals quickly, very quickly. You can get blood all over the place, and it will be ready to go in a couple of days again. It's an amazing organ. Well, anyway, after that I used lube and so forth and so on. Well, I don't know how long I've been there. I'm going to quit, but I have a proposal to help our society and maybe make wanking more acceptable. Now, take a little courage on people's parts, and maybe we can come up with a better word for the gals, but whatever. Now, what do we do when we meet somebody, we go, how are you? Why don't we just say, wanking well? Just a question. And then there's, now we say when they're leaving, we'll have a good trip. And then we say, wank well. Seems perfectly, we do that enough. It'll become part of the language. Okay, there was one last thing, which I really will. I need two hands to do it, but I don't somehow I'm going to do it with one hand. Star Trek fans. Now, I apologize to any Star Trek fan. If I can do it, is that the Spock thing? Yeah. Okay, now, hold on. So, you do it with both hands, and up in the air, and instead of saying, what is it, something well and prosper? Pardon? Live long and prosper. Wank well and often. Thank you.
I'm not sure I should shake your hand, but